Right? So you have this inspiration to do something. You go to act. And as soon as you go to act, the fear center kicks in. And just like you said, well, then I start wondering, I start thinking what. And so one of the questions you need to ask yourself so that you can solve the problem, right? It's one thing just to jump this hump and just do and act. And I love that, but that speed bump's going to come back. Right. So like, what's the story? Is the story is, I'm worried that she'll judge, what I'm doing. I'm worried that she'll say no. I'm worried that she'll say no because if she says no, that means, right. Or I'm just worried because I don't know where this was going and I don't want to jeopardize relationship. Or what are you thinking?
Probably that second piece, that I don't want her to think I'm selling her something, but then if I am selling her something, it's something great to sell because everybody needs this. And I know these things, but this whatever goes back and forth here, I'm like, okay, I cannot sit at the end of this power hour and talk myself out of one more invite. I just have to address it and talk about it.
You're moving. So you're right. Does this individual need your product? Yes. The real question, the most important question, I mean, because you answered that, now you can move forward in belief that you have something that somebody needs. Wonderful. But the real key for that person is, do they want this? And how will you find out if they want it?
If I don't ask, right? How would I ever know?
Exactly. So one of the things I'm going to invite you to do is explore that what's going on internally. There's a story going on in yourself. And what does that mean? So is the story, what we've talked about, that story is, well, I'm hesitating on, I had this thought. She came to my mind in the middle of the night and I woke up. We call that inspiration. Now I'm moving into action and I'm slowing down. I'm getting resistance internally. That is not inspiration, by the way. Like, can you weigh that out? Like, how does the one feel? She came to my mind. Was that light or darkness? Like, let's just get like in your mind, did it feel light or did it feel dark?
Yeah, it felt like it,
Okay.
like I was so on fire this morning. Like I was going to reach out to her right when I woke up, but it was like so early. I thought, that's probably not, I mean, it felt that. And then I listened to my neuro tools this morning and then I did and so then I'm sitting here all fired up because I took notes in the night so I wouldn't forget either. And then I sit here and I start to type it out and then I stop and I started 3 different messages to 3 different people. And then I stop and I'm like, oh, I'll go back to that later. But the truth is I won't go back to it later. History has proven to myself I won't.
And how brilliant that you recognize this, the awareness, like this is massive progress because what happens in like it's a roundabout. It's a roundabout sometimes. And you keep on going over the same speed bump, right? There's a story connected to a core belief, right? A story connected to a fear, connected to a core belief. Hey, the story is, and you write this, but it sounds like you're saying, I don't want it to hurt our friendship. Why? Because I'm afraid, like, I don't want it to hurt a friendship. That's nice. Let's surface. What's next? I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of her rejecting our friendship. Okay. I'm afraid of being humiliated. I'm afraid of, like, what is that fear? What do you think? Like, if there one fear that's there?
I would say my fear is that she'll be upset at me and think I'm selling something to her. Like my fear, I guess that would be in rejection, my fear of doing something to our friendship or something like that, or her trust, I guess. But then I'm like, but, because they all have seen miracles in Ryan and just in his walking and everything. And I think that's the part where I hesitate, because some of the nurses that were able to see like him walking in those days. And that's where I'm going to take your real idea and I'm going to put the story of Ryan from in a very short amount of days, like from 3 steps to 30 steps to, oh my gosh, he's walked the whole room, to being on the parallel bars. I mean, Soraya said it took her 8 weeks to be able to do that, you know? And so those are things that I have to keep. But some of those nurses that were there that saw it right away have dismissed me when I reached out, like, hey, you saw what happened to Ryan. There was only one change made, and that was put in his feeding tube. And they're like, oh, that's great. I'm so happy for Ryan, you know? And I think that's part of where I'm like,
Okay. Okay. This is good. This is really good. I've got this inspiration. It's light. I'm moving into action. And now it's kind of getting gray. Like the feeling, like the emotion, like, okay, let me put it this way. It's light and dark. Let me go green and red, right? I've got this inspiration. I'm green, right? It's green light, go. Yes, yes, yes. Feels good, light, happy, good energy. I start to move into it and the fear center kicks in. And now I start to slow down. There's friction. There's wind blowing in my face. I'm red. And that emotion is fear. I'm scared of rejection. I'm scared of being misunderstood.
mm-hmm.
I'm scared of this valuable relationship not being valued, that value carrying over, right? And sometimes you got to disconnect the value of the relationship and what they want, right? And it's a fear. I'm afraid, but here's what I'm really thinking, because they're like, oh yeah, that's nice. I wonder, is I'm afraid that what I value won't be valued.
That's probably.
Which leads to a core belief. If what you value, and I'm not saying truth here, I'm saying perspective, POV, as we say on Instagram, on the gram. If what you highly prize and value is not only is neglected, rejected, poo-pooed.
That's a good, that's how I felt. I'm like, wow, how can
ignored, or even worse, kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, if that's what that girl thinks, she's been through so much, poor thing. You know,
Right. I am not, what I have is not enough. What I have, like if I had, what I had was enough, then they would accept it. Now that may be the story. Now here's where we need to reframe the story. If you have the most amazing thing in the world that's light and beautiful and healthy and wonderful and should be desirable, but somebody doesn't want it, where is the problem? Is the problem in the enoughness of this wonderful gift, fruit, the desirable thing, or is it in the person who doesn't want it? Where's the problem? I mean, essentially, like, where's the not enoughness? Is it this isn't good enough, or is it this person doesn't want it enough? Where is the enoughness here on the scale, Melanie?
Yeah. Well, and then I think, well, maybe I didn't present it in the right way. Maybe I didn't.
Then guess what? We're coming back to the same story, which is
same. Okay. Okay.
Enough. So we need to do is
story. I'm so glad I said something, but
I am too. So here's the question. Like, I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, Melanie. Let's anybody, we're going to wrap up power. We're coming to the top of the hour. Deep breath in. Out, and we're going to look at that motivation center. Okay. We're going to breathe in again. I want you to imagine the fear of not being enough, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being poo-pooed. And I want you to give it a number, kind of see it there. And then we're just kind of doing some slow breathing exercise. In slow, out slow. And I want you to see that fear. And I want you to jump over on the other side. That fear is red. And what is that number right now for you? And what is this emotion? How strong is it right now, Melanie?
I'd say it's like a 4.
Okay. So it's there, but it's not overpowering. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think it was at a 10 when we started this conversation, and now you've talked me down. Seriously, I'm just like, I can't sit here another power hour and go through this in my head, because then the guilt that it goes like through my whole day.
And here's what you do, because you're a good person and you care about people, and you're starting to doubt your doubts, which is a great thing. Doubt your doubts before you doubt your belief. Okay. And then you're like, but I needed to do this. And so then you guilt trip yourself into, and shame yourself that I should have done this. I could have, which is, guess what? It's just another way of saying I wasn't enough. All right. So come back with me with breathing. We're at a 4. We're jumping back on that. We're jumping over not just the what and the why. I know you got a what and a why. Okay, but I want to jump over to the I can, I will, I am. And I just want you to think about that I am. And we're going to breathe that in. I want you to push that I am. I want you to see that green light above the I am. I want you to feel it where it was last night. I want you to feel like, what do you have to be in order to get that kind of revelation? Like, where do you have to be? Where does your I amness have to be in order to receive that kind of inspiration, right? I just want to breathe it in. I want you to say, I am enough. Just kind of tap. I want you to then breathe it in again. Breathe it in. At the top of that breath, hold it and just tap and say, be here now. Now release. You're just going to release any tension, any angst, any anxiety, just that fear that was over on the other side. You're just going to kind of with a sound, let it out. Okay. Now I want you to look at the number above your I amness right now. And I want you to just kind of, where is that number right now?
Like, I'm ready to send the message.
You're in 9 or 10. All right. So here's what I do. And here's how I keep my messages here's how I keep it simple. I would not say, hey, will you watch this video? I will not do that yet. I'm going to break the ice and say, like, I'm either going to say copy paste from the app because it's already there. These already work. These 3 already work. Or I'm going to modify it and say, I woke up from a dead sleep in the middle of the night and I knew I had to call you this morning.
Yep.
Do you have a minute to chat? ? Send. Now, you could put business, and that's fine. What we want to do is we want to create a point of intention. Like, how are you is just not enough. I don't like how are you to start business stuff, because then you gotta go around that roundabout 5 times. And then, oh, by the way, I really wanted to talk to you about this, right? So but when you say, I woke up in the middle of the night from a dead sleep and your name was on the tip of my brain, like, people get that there's something different about this. There's a reason. It's not just a nurture. Does that make sense? It's not just and then call her or text her. I say, do you have a minute to chat? Sure. Okay. So here's the deal. So here's the scoop. Do you know what I just did? She said yes. She said yes, right? But you've ice broken into the territory. You've crossed the territory of I'm just nurturing into, we're going to have a serious invite conversation. And they gave you permission to come into their territory. She said, sure, what's going on? Now you can say something very simple. And honestly, I just started again with the script here. It says, so here's the scoop. Now, you're not going to copy and paste that, although you could, but you'd modify it. So here's the scoop. You know that Ryan and I had some very specific health protocols in the hospital. Because of where we are, I'm taking a major role in expanding our health business. And I'm looking to collaborate with some incredible healthcare professionals.
That's perfect, because that's what I want to, that's what my dream is. I picture this. I picture these women that I was so close with that have all the, gosh, I'm sorry about my dogs. But
Oh, you're
that's
just,
my vision, is to have them all on my team, is my, not just for a multitude of reasons, for a multitude of reasons.
good stop there. Good stop there.
Yeah.
Not Melanie.
Yeah, last week helped me majorly. Now I just need to keep going.
Melanie, you had a little speed bump. Like you came up to that speed bump and you're about to go over, boom. And then you're like, well, okay, maybe I'll just ease around. I see these women on my team, not, and I'm going to finish what that story was saying, not because I want them in my business, not because I'm trying to be over them, not because you are worthy. You are worthy, which is a way of saying I am worthy. I see these women on my team. I see working together with these women on my team to go make a difference. Why? The reason that you can, when you can say that, you're in the I amness. Hey, what if, I don't know, I'm just going to say her name's Cheryl. You know, we've got a Cheryl, we've got our Cheryl here. Let's just say her name, Cheryl. I'm putting together a team of amazing women who understand healthcare, who understand health and want to do it different. I want to make a difference in the world. It's been a miracle in our life. And so I want to talk with you about how we can collaborate. You didn't say, I want you in my business, although there are times to say, but it's like, are you, oh, you know, here's what I want to do. Are you open? I want to talk collaboration. Are you open? And if she's not open, guess what? Does that mean that the fruit on the tree was bitter? No. It means they're fruit intolerant right now. That's all it means.
Well, and you've just brought this to a new level for me, because I don't need to text her either. I mean, I can text her, and if it opens to a conversation, I'm not afraid of that conversation. And so that is something I wouldn't have thought of if I hadn't asked you. So I'm so thankful. Thank you,
Brilliant.
everyone, for listening, because this is, I'm sure that we all kind of go through this sometimes where I'm like, ah.
I'm getting the tingles right now. I'm getting the Holy Spirit tingles right now, just because like we just worked through something. We just worked through something, right? Super powerful.
Yes, and so then I'm going to be ready to do it with my chiropractors here in Anthem. And that's what I keep telling myself too, is if I don't reach out to them, somebody else will. And that's more real right now than ever. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to the chat box. We're at the top of the hour. This is a great run. Cheryl, I got a response from my reach out and responded. I did 2 follow-ups on folks. I sent info and I plan to invite both. Boom, booyah. Beautiful. Who's on iPhone today, by the way? Who's on iPhone? I don't see it. And are they still with us? Maybe we lost them. Somebody was on iPhone and they said, big invite, 2 follow-ups, we'll do 1 more. Maybe it was Barbara.
I bet it was Barbara.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, I think we got the question. So what I'm going to give you, like, okay, what do we focus on? What do we focus on? What do we focus on? I'll give you the next 3 months. November, you know, we're still in November. You can do in 12 days what you've never done in 30. I promise you. You can do it in 2 ways. You could do it by yourself, which is where you start. Like, do it. You can easily do, you can do in a day what you've never done in 30 days. That's a beautiful thing about this industry. Okay. You can. You can also do that with a team. You get 2 or 3 people, you get the power of 3 going for you. You can easily do more than you've ever done in 30 days. Okay. So you got November, you got December, you got January, you got February. We got 3+ full months. Where do you put your focus? Okay. Where do you put your focus? What do you put on kind of your vision board okay, for where am I heading? What's the direction I'm heading? Your vision board is, and your direction is not your DMO. It's not your daily method of operation. Okay. It is where you're heading. It's that direction. It's not every single turn. I'll call it a destination, if you will, a temporary destination. So where do I recommend you head? Like, what's really important? Where do you channel your efforts that you want to be? By the end of these 3 months or during the course of these 3 months? Okay. Road to Pro 4. Every single one of you, that is in your future. Why am I saying Pro 4 instead of Pro 3? We've been doing Pro 3. Love it, love it, love it. I'm just going to throw this out there. Okay. Road to Pro 4. Okay. Inviting your team to the road to Pro 4. You want to know the best way to get to Pro 4? Get 2 people on your team, lead them to Pro 4. And guess what? You can't help but being Pro 4 just about. Okay. Right. But you put in your attention, Pro 4, road to Pro 4. Okay. Put in there. We're not talking about the how right now. I'm talking about the what. Okay. The destination, the temporary goal, the intention. How are you going to get there? Okay. The other intention, MVP. Okay. MVP 1, 2, 3. MVP 1. MVP 1 is MVP bronze, which means that you have 3 distributors, okay, preferably new, okay, to be recognized by the company they're new, right? And that's great. I don't care who they are. Get 3 distributors personally enrolled who are on a 200 PV, 200 of personal volume, right? Customers and personal orders. That's MVP 1. That's MVP level 1, right? So put that in your mind. So if I were you, I'd just put MVP down. And you could even write like MVP 1, 2, 3, but you're going to start at 1. Well, what do you do after what do you do after you get MVP 1? Then you push to 2, right? You help each of those one individual to become MVP 1. If you help your 3 people, if you're an MVP 1, you've got 3 distributors on your front line, you personally enrolled, and they have 200 PV, and you help each one of them just do what you did, duplication. They go MVP 1. You're now MVP 2, right? And there's cash on the table, $100 for being a MVP 1. If they're new distributors, right? New as of, I don't know, earlier this year. I don't remember when the cutoff date is. Again, I'm not so concerned about the bonus. I'm concerned about the behavior, right? I'm teaching the behavior. But if they are newer, and again, should you want newer ones? Heck yeah, go recruit. Like, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I'm just talking about your vision. You help 3 of those distributors go MVP 1. You're now MVP 2. That's bronze. By the way, that's a $500 bonus. Okay. For every month that's done. Okay. But you're seeing how your organization is growing. Can you imagine what it feels like to be MVP 1 and have 3 legs who are active and ready. And then you help those 3 legs activate, right? And they go MVP 1. Can you, you're doing a dance right now. Can you imagine what it's going to feel like when you have 3 legs with 4 people on each of those legs? Okay. Then what do you do? How do you go MVP 3? Well, then you and your team go help each of those 9 people, right? On your second level go. That's how you get to 3. But I want you to focus on getting to MVP 1. Don't worry about 2. Don't worry about 3. You know how to get there, but get yourself to MVP 1. That's where it starts. Okay. All right. So we've got, where's my intention? I'm heading toward Pro 4. Well, how are you going to do it? Start by getting to MVP 1. So MVP 1 is an intention in front of road to Pro 4. Okay. Okay. Now what? How can I, outside of MVP? So I'm going to get to MVP. You're recruiting. Melanie, what you are doing, you're pushing to you right now. What you did, what we just talked about in PowerHour is right on track with that, because that's going to push you. She enrolls. That's a leg. That's 1/3 of MVP, right? That's 1/3 of MVP. Beautiful. Brilliant. You do MVP, you do that a couple of times, a few times, 3 times, and you're on the road to Pro 4, right? I mean, because you're already Pro 3, you already paid as Pro 3 rock star, right? How powerful. So that's that business side. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about this. That's what I'm going to call team building. Okay. I'm going to really hone in my training for you. One way to be wildly successful in business is to team build. Okay. The other thing that you want to do is you want to sell product. You want to move product. You want to create a customer base. And some of you are so good at this. Let's double what you've done. Like, let's double what you've done on the customer base for the people who want it and or the people who don't want the business, right? Like, if you don't want the business, great, then let's invite this nurse, right? She needs Axio for her kids. Sorry, let's stay in the columns. She needs optimized health. Does she want it? Right? Nerve 2, right? Does she want, she might need Radiant Beauty. Does she want it? Collagen, right? So what I'm going to say with customers is a massive push this year to up-level these next 3 months. I'm not talking about choosing one of these. I'm saying let's attack both, right? So let's go after those customers. So, all right, great. Increase your customer pod. So I'm going to give you a goal here. This is for your, I'm going to do this myself. Okay. Like, I'm setting a goal for by the end of February. Okay. Where my intention is for my customer base. Like, and I'm just going to say it's simple. My customer base is how many customers in November, December, January, February. But like, I'm looking to February because that's kind of my intention, this 90-day build. How much volume do I want from my customers by the end of February, over that 90-day period, right? I'm looking to create a strong customer base. That's something I haven't spent a lot of time in most of my years. Like, customers are like, okay, yeah, come in, but where are my distributors, right? And that's one of the reasons I'm Pro 10. And that's one of the reasons I'm telling you, I'm going to teach you. We're teaching. Oh, thank you. Chocolate. Are these chocolate?
Yeah.
Chocolate protein pancakes on the menu. Thank you, Stephanie. Is there like a half a stick of butter on these?
Don't say them.
So team building is absolutely something we're teaching and you're going to do. But you're going to do both. Build a customer base. And why? All these people that I just talked about that you're going to enroll, like to get into MVP 1. How many legs for MVP 1? 1, 2, 3. Yes, Melanie, 3. Well, what if you teach them exactly what I'm teaching you, to go be MVP and to do what? Have a customer base. A customer base of 1,000 volume. Okay, Melanie, you're like, I'm already doing that. Great. A customer base of 2,000 volume every single month. A customer base of 4,000 volume every single month. A customer base of 10. Can you imagine? I'm just going to throw out 4,000, right? 3,000. We're talking about threes. The power of 3. You have 3 people, your MVP, and each of those 3 people, each of those 3 people has $3,000 in personal volume from personal customer volume. How much volume is that? If 3 people each have 3,000, how much volume are we talking about? Let's do the math. Oh, those pancakes are amazing.
Those look great. That's what Ryan made for us yesterday morning. Not protein pancakes though.
You gotta reach out to Stephanie and get her protein recipe, or maybe I'll have her drop it in what she's doing. These protein pancakes are amazing with Kodiak cakes and some protein powder. But
that'd be good because my kids remember the protein pancakes I made for them, and they have never let me forget it. They were not, you couldn't even get them down your throat. So so we're at 9,000, right?
Okay.
Just in them.
That's them. And then how much volume and how much customer volume are you creating? Let's just say.
Well, 3, because you said to do 3, right?
Yeah,
3
so
on top of what I'm already doing. So I need 3,000 in new customer volume, right?
Awesome.
That's what my goal is.
I don't know. You decide that goal. But I'm going to say, let's go 3 months from now, because I'm not at 3,000. So I want to get to where you are. So yes, should you want to increase? You should absolutely want to increase that customer volume. But I'm just going to say that it's 3,000. Like you started where I'm at. I mean, I'm not at 0, right? I've got customer volume, but if you have 3,000 customer volume and you go MVP and they grow those legs to each of them, they don't even recruit yet. You teach them how to get 3,000 customer volume. You've got your 3 plus 3 plus 3. You're at what volume?
That's incredible. That's 12,000. So that'd be a lot.
Guess what? What do you qualify? What rank do you qualify for at Pro 3? At $12,000 of volume?
Because I have to, Pro 4 is double what Pro 3 is, right? 10,000.
Yep.
So that would make me Pro 4 for sure, right?
There's the road to Pro 4. So going out and focusing on, and I'm going to run it from the top to the bottom, running to Pro 4. I just mapped it out how to do it. Okay. Running to Pro 4, one of the stepping big goal intentions is MVP. MVP level 1, 3 active legs, $200 a piece. Right. And then I'm going to go, I'm personally, you're saying this about you. I'm going to go and build my customer base to X. Like you decide the number. You decide. I mean, you're already running over $3,000 a month, I think, right, in customer volume, Melanie. That's awesome. But you want to go increase it. Why? Because those are more people on the product that are going to talk to more people. It's going to be more money on the table for you. And like, what else are you going to do? Right? That's part of the building. But you're also going to teach your MVP, those 3 people and your 3 MVP legs, how to do that, how to get customers and go MVP. So like this is a Pro 5 plan. Like if you do only half of this, kind of a thing, right? You get to Pro 5, or get to Pro 4. You do all of it. You teach your MVPs to go MVPs, right? This thing just starts to get really exciting. So that's your intention. It's not your how, but it's a building block of intentions. Okay, how? Daily exposure and engagement. Daily, it's what we did today here on PowerHour. Daily exposure and engagement. And working through those stories so that they don't hold us up, Melanie.
Yes.
Daily exposure and engagement. So brilliant run. I'm just absolutely thank you for kind of getting this kick-started.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what else this will do for, I don't know who else is still on if they're having this.
Cheryl's on and Vivian's on.
Oh, good. Good, because it won't be as devastating when a customer quits. When you've got a huge customer base, you won't be hinging on, oh my gosh, that customer paused their order. Like when LifeVantage texts us that we have actions in our, so that's also another thing to be excited about, where you can just go, okay, next. No.
Absolutely. So here's the kicker. If all of this hinges, like we ran the vision board for Pro 4, Road to Pro 4, MVP, customer base, and that all comes down to our DMO. The DMO is not our vision board. The DMO is our diesel fuel. It's our gasoline. It's the engine to push it. It is the, 4 disciplines of execution coming in here. It is the lead measure.
Yep.
So now I want you to set, what do I want to get done today? Like how much exposure and engagement, how many invites do I want to get done? Because I know that the more good quality invites I get done, the more exposures I get, the more engagement I get. The more engagement I get, the more customers, the more legs, right? The more MVP, the faster I'm getting MVP, the faster I'm getting at Pro 4. So it all funnels down to one thing. Look at, set your intention today. How many nurtures, how many invites, how many follow-ups, right? Nurtures and IPAs. And if you're sitting at 1 or 2 IPAs, it's going to take us longer. right? It's going to take us longer. We have in our hands the most important health protocol in the world in our space. I would like for the just, but it comes down to us being excited and believing and releasing and telling the right stories and stepping into your I amness and saying, wow, here we go. Let's do this at a big level. So that's my recommendation for the next 90 days. In 90 days, I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna build on that. Okay. But like, yeah. Now make sure I'm covering stuff that needs to be covered. And you know what I'm really doing? I'm just going over the proven plan. Okay. Step one, plugging into your system. Make sure that you're registered for the next big event. Make sure that you are, if you registered for, by the way, if you didn't do, and I think you all did, if you didn't do Journey, get your Journey ticket and go through it. If you did do Journey, go through it all again in the next 30 days. That's like home, like that's like super professional stuff. You're going to glean some stuff and go back to stuff that you didn't quite finish. Some of the sessions that you were a little distracted on, whatever, right? Some of the stuff you just need to hear twice. Some of the inspiration that you got, but you didn't act on. So make sure that your training, you'd go through Journey, okay? Over the next, you know, before the end of the year. Make sure that you are registered for the next big event. Make sure that you are ready for Rock the Rhythm. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We are going to rock the rhythm. I'm telling you. Register for that event, and we're going to promote like crazy to that event. We have Evolve coming up in New Orleans, right? That's in March. I'm registered. Team events, make sure that you commit your calendar. You all are so good. You're the tried and true. You're the faithful. Make sure that when you're going to MVP that you bring your people here. Plug them in. Because like all I'm doing every day with you, I'm just plugged in. I'm just doing step one of the proven plan. And that's critical. Plug in. Okay, step two, feed your mind. Feed your mind, feed your mind, feed your mind. Make sure you're doing your neuro tools today. And guess what? We got those free neuro tools. If you don't have a membership to Deb, we got them in the app. We got them in the CEO Pro app. And what I'm going to recommend you do, here's what I'm going to recommend you do for the next, we're tracking this. I'm inviting you to preference, pardon me, the CEO Pro app above Deb's app. Okay. Now, if we have the neuro tool in CEO app, now we have 5. Okay, it's just 5. But if you're going to listen to a neuro tool, pick one of those 5 first, unless you need to go to her app. Okay, and I'm doing this because I'm working with Rapid Funnel and we're running some numbers. So we're wanting to watch how much people are really engaging in the coaching section, right? So go through all of those new modules. Check them out. Check out. Okay, one a day or one a week. And listen to your neuro tools via the CEO Pro app. Okay. The app is getting a lot of traction. Like I've got my elite leaders who are starting to see what the app is with the freemium and the coaching and the tool. Like you'd be crazy not to do it because it's the one way. It is the way, right? The Mandalorian. This is the way. And then again, what step 3 of the proven plan is what? Take 10 people. It's exposure, invite, expose and invite, exposure and invite. So, all right. I wanted to show you before we're done, as we're finishing here, I'm sharing my screen. We did that app training yesterday, or we did our social media training yesterday. And Lillian sent me a message and said she did the homework. She did the there she is. She did the reel. So I'm going to show it to you just because I want you to see, you know, what she did. She made it her own. Here we go. Boom. How fun is that? How fun is that? She did a fabulous, fabulous job. All right. Anything else, Cheryl? I need to hop into, yes, Cheryl, let's do that. Let's do that right now. In fact, Cheryl, I'm going to type my number in. Will you call me, please? Is that all right? There's my number. Call me and I will not get on to another meeting until, well, let's just call now. I'm going to stop the recording, and what an amazing PowerHour